It's another hot day at the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton, Texas, as we bring you the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U State T-Ball Tournament, day number 3. We start on field number 2 tonight as we bring you the winner's bracket game between the Bosqueville Rangers and the Salado Eagles. The winner of this game will play at 8:30 against the winner of the Mineola Legends and the Riesel Indians. They're playing right now over on field number 1. We'll try to keep you update while we are going on. They are just underway. And it looks like Mineola is... See, it looks like the Indians are in the field, so the Indians are the home team. They trail Mineola 2-0 in the top of the first inning. So the coaches are meeting at the plate, waiting to find out who's home and who's away. We'll give you the starting lineups here in just a moment. Tonight's broadcast, as they have been the entire week, brought to you by Carve My Yard of Temple and Salado, West Temple Orthodontics, Texas Terrors Showcase Team and 13U Squad, CF Building Materials, that's CF Supply Building Materials, and above it all, Tree Care. As we get the flip, and it looks like the Salado Eagles white team will be the home squad, so Bosqueville will bat first. Let's go ahead and give you the batting order for the Bosqueville Rangers. Carter Bates will be followed by Bryce Craig, Brooks Gonzalez, Riggs Railsback, Lane Jorgensen, Judah Koskela, Rick Fabianchi, Cullen Anderson, and Joe Mackey. Defensive alignment for the Eagles white squad from Salado. Easton Burks at first base. Hunter Fulfer, that's Hudson Fulfer, at second base. At third base is Brooks Hale. Christian is at shortstop. That'd be Christian Maffey. In left field, it'll be Brentley Hendricks. In center field is Palmer Burks. Right field is Red Parker behind the plate. Well, I didn't get who was behind the plate, but anyway, you know that there's a catcher back there. In the circle is Cameron Tater. That's Camden Tater, Tater. So the Salado Eagles white take the field here on the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex. Carter Bates, the speedy center fielder, will lead off for the Bosqueville Rangers. As part of the first inning, brought to you by Carve My Yard of Temple and Salado, the premier yard sign greeting rental company. Proudly celebrating Belton, Temple, Salado, Gerald, and the surrounding areas. We specialize in making your big day even bigger. Book now at carvemyyard.com for your next birthday, anniversary, retirement, baby announcement, graduation, or special event. Carter Bates will get this third day of the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-Ball Tournament underway. It's a winner's bracket game. Winner moves on to play at 8:30. We'll do our best to keep an eye on Riesel and Mineola. Mineola leading by 7-0. They've reached the 7-run max in the first. So Carter will drill it to shortstop. Coming up with the ball is Christian, and he'll hold Carter Bates to a single. So Bosqueville has their first runner of the ball game. That'll bring up shortstop Bryce Craig. Like to welcome fans from Bosqueville and Salado onto the broadcast, as well as statewide. Going to be going live here in a few minutes once Texas Teenage shares the video And there's a ball that flies into the left field. That's a base hit. Bryce heads towards second. Carter, the speedy Carter Bates, will score. Bryce will now go to third on the throw. Bryce will pick up a run-scoring double. It's now 1-0 Bosqueville. That'll bring up the first baseman, Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks lining up in the left-handed batter's box. Here's a pop-up. This gets into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Bryce will score easily. Brooks will round first. He'll head to second, and he will pull in with a stand-up RBI double. Bosqueville leading 2-0. That brings up third baseman Riggs Railsback. Glad to do it for everybody. Getting a good following here on the stream. If you've got parents or family members or friends that want to watch along, have them follow my Facebook page, and we'll get them that live link to come on and support the kids. So Riggs rears back. Here's a shot. This is going to get into left center field for a base hit. And this ends up going to the fence. Brooks will score easily. Riggs will head towards second. He rounds second and heads for third. Riggs has got the throw coming in. He's going to get the green light. Riggs rails back. 2-run inside the park homer, and Bosqueville has doubled their lead. It's now 4-0. And that'll bring up Lane Jorgensen, the pitcher, manning the circle. Lane lines up. Here's a grounder to third, but it ends up going between the wickets. It's a croquet shot for a single into left field, and that'll bring up second baseman Judah Koskala. Rangers with 4 runs without an out here in the first inning. They're on their 6th batter. Reminder, 7-run maximum innings until we hit the extra innings. And we'll only talk about that if we get there. There's a pop-up to shortstop. And the third baseman, Hale, will pick it up. And safe at second was Lane Jorgensen. So Koskala reach. Runners on first and second. That'll bring up right fielder Rick Fabianchi. You'll hear a lot of noise in the background. The Mineola and Riesel game going on behind us. Winner of that game plays the winner of this game at 8:30. It won't be on this stream, though. Here's a grounder to the pitcher, and making the play is Camden. And Camden sprints over towards the third base line to keep Lane at third base. So the first out of the inning is registered by Salado. 1 down, and that'll bring up left fielder Cullen Anderson. Glad to see the viewership increasing as we go on. We're in the top of the first inning, just underway. Bosqueville leading Salado 4-0 winners bracket game in the 6U T-ball tournament. Here's a grounder to second. A run will score. And now 2 runs will score as Keller knocks the ball down. And that will be a single that will score 2 runs for Cullen Anderson. It's 6-0. And Bosqueville right on the cusp of a 7-run max. That'll bring up Joe Amaki. This portion of Texas Teenage Baseball's 6U T-Ball State Tournament is brought to you by Texas Terror's Showcase Team and 13U Squad. Home of Nobody Cares. Work harder. Great people at Texas Terror. putting in some work this summer in select tournaments around the state. Here's a chopper, and it's backhand knocked down by Camden, and both runners will be safe. And back to the top of the lineup for the Rangers, it's Carter Bates. Bates singled and scored back in the first. For the Rangers, the only run that matters right now is the run on second. It's Cullen Anderson as the 7-run max is in view. Here's a ball that ends up in front of the arc and then ends up spinning back. I wish I had pool shots that did that. That was quite the cue shot. And there's one strike to Carter Bates. Bryce Craig is on deck. That's only if Cullen Anderson does not score. Here's a pop-up. And this gets into left field for a base hit. And this will leak out past the left fielder. Cullen Anderson will score. And the Bosqueville Rangers start the ball game with a 7-run max. So we go to the bottom of the first inning in this winner's bracket game between the Bosqueville Rangers and the Salado Eagles. Bosqueville 7 and the Eagles coming to bat. Let's give you the Eagles batting order. Keller Demaray will lead off. He'll play second base. He'll be followed by Brantley Hendricks, Rhett Parker, Camden Tater, Brooks Hale, Christian Maffey, Hudson Fulfer, Easton Burks, Palmer Burks, and Ryan Ellis. That's Easton Heckman, not Easton Burke. Sorry about that, folks. Easton Heckman. He's playing first base for the Eagles. Bosqueville's defensive alignment. Brooks Gonzalez at first base. Judah Koskela at second. Bryce Craig at third. At shortstop, it's Bryce Craig. In left field, Cullen Anderson. Center field, Carter Bates. Right field, Rick Fabianchi. Behind the plate, Joe Amaki. And in the circle is Lane Jorgensen. Keller Demaray will lead off the bottom of the first inning for the Salado Eagles. That is the white squad. We'll refer to them as the Eagles. Keller will step in. There's a looper. Terrell's back at third, but no play. Keller makes it on base with an infield single, and that will bring up left fielder Brantley Hendricks. CF Building Supply, that is CF Supply Building Materials, your commercial and residential specialist located in Belton and Waco. Call 254-939-9385 for more information. CF Supply, build your next project with us. So Brantley lines the ball up. He's aiming towards left field on the pull. And this knocks the tee over. Once again, the tee didn't do anything to you, sir. And there's one strike to Hendricks. Top of the second inning, Riesel and Emery tied at 7-7. And no throw on the shot to second. That is Mineola and Riesel tied at 7 in the top of the second inning. Winner of that game plays the winner of this one at 8:30 over on field number 4. Right fielder Red Parker will come to the plate. Runners on first and second for the Eagles with nobody out. Here's a shot to second. And knocking the ball down is Judah. That will spring Keller, and Keller will score. So Rhett Parker drives in a run. The Eagles are on the board. It's now 7-1. Runners at first and second with nobody out, and that'll bring up Camden Tudor. Keep saying Tater. It was written. The lineup showed Tater. It's Camden Tudor. So Camden will step in with nobody out. A run across. There's a ball drilled to short. And taking it off the tummy is the shortstop, Craig, rounding third and heading for home. Brantley Hendricks gives Salado their second run. Red Parker stops at second. Camden with a run batted in. It's now 7-2. Brings up Brooks Hale. Brooks, the third baseman. Got 2.5 more days of Texas Teenage Baseball Association T-ball action from Belton. Game time temperature, $106. Winds 20 miles an hour on the gust, 12 on, as the kids say, the brag. There's a grounder to shortstop. Now, the shortstop will run the runner back to the bag at second. They get the force. So Bryce Craig gets the force at second. Rhett scores. Brooks stops at first on the fielder's choice. It's now 7-3. That'll bring up shortstop Christian Maffey. Maffey will hit it to second base. It leaks into right field for a base hit. Brooks will round third. He'll come home. Being waved to third is Christian. The ball is slow getting in. The throw is going to be late. It's an inside the park homer for Christian Maffey. 2-run style. It's now 7-5. Salado has chomped the deficit back to 2. And that'll bring up second baseman Hudson Fulfer. That's Hudson with 2 Ds. On the lineup, 1 D on the official roster. Here's a grounder right back to Craig. Looking for somebody to throw to, and they get the out at first. Good throw. Bryce Craig to Brooks Gonzalez, and there's 2 down. Brings up first baseman Easton Heckman. Five runs across for Salado. They trail Bosqueville in the bottom of the first inning, 7-5. 7-run maxes in the first 5 innings. 14-run maxes in extra innings 6 and 7, and 21 in the 8th inning. We went 8 innings in a game the other night. Here's a pop-up. This is going to drop down in left field for a base hit. Easton. We're round first. Oh, and he blows a tire going around first. Is he going to beat the shortstop to the bag? He will. Easton's momentum carried him a little too far forward. Ended up with a double. And that'll bring up Palmer Burks, the center fielder of an All Tree Care, has a certified arborist and Texas Wilt Oak certified arborist on staff, providing tree services for Temple, Belton, Salado, and Central Texas areas. Call Bub at All Tree Care, 254-743-9123. Visit their Facebook page or their website, aboveitalltreecare.com. Seth Hale directing Palmer in the box. There's a fly ball, and this is going to go into short left field. Palmer will stay at first, but scoring on the play is Easton. Palmer will move to second on the throw. And now he's going to try for third. And he's safe. RBI triple for Palmer Burks. It's now 7-6. And Salado is a run away from a 7-run max. That brings up Riot Ellis. Great name, Riot Ellis. That's some great names in this tournament. I absolutely had Brazos Browning last night. Riggs Railsback. Good, manly sounding names. Riot Ellis. It's going to be a good name for the Eagles, hopefully in next 8 to 10 years. There's a short ground ball. There's a throw to the bag, and they get him! Nice throw by Lane Jorgensen, and a nice snag by Brooks Gonzalez. And that 1-3 put out gets Bosqueville off the field. So Salado scores 6 in the bottom of the first. We go to the top of the second. It's the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-Ball State Tournament from the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton. Bosqueville 7, Salado 6. Dr. Larissa Cowley is a board-certified orthodontist via the American Board of Orthodontists. For your free consultation, visit their Facebook page, WestTempleOrthodontics.com, or call them up, 899-2500. West Temple Orthodontics, we go to the extra smile as Bryce Craig reaches base. That'll be a single for the Bosqueville shortstop. And that'll bring up first baseman Brooks Gonzalez. He had an RBI double back in the first inning. First of 3 games here on the net for you. Give you those other games here in just a moment. Both of those are losers bracket games. And there's a fly ball that ends up in left field. So Brooks will stop at first as Bryce Craig stops at second. That gives the Rangers 2 runners on. It brings up Mr. Riggs Railsback. Had a 2-run inside the park homer back in the first inning. The games we'll bring you tonight here on Field 2 will be the Belton Guardians and the Canton Captains. And then the winner of that game will play the loser We'll get you the information on that here in just a moment. Don't want to fall too far behind as Riggs drives in a run with a single as Bryce scores. Brooks stops at second. It's now 8-6. Bosqueville. And that'll bring up Lane Jorgensen. Lane singled to left field back in the first inning. Here's a grounder back to shortstop. Snagging the ball is Christian Maffey. And the tag is made. So it ends up a fielder's choice. And a great hustle play by Christian Maffey. 6 unassisted on the play at third, 1 down. Griggs is now at second. Lane's at first, and that'll bring up second baseman Judah Koskela. Judah singled and scored back in the first inning. Judah lines it up. Here's a short pop fly in front of the arc. And now holding the ball will be Camden Tudor. Now the bases are loaded. Below Bosqueville Rangers. 1 down here in the second inning, and that'll bring up Rick Fabianchi. Rick grounded out to first in the first. Bosqueville with 7 runs in the first. Salado answered with 6. Bosqueville has plated 1 here in the second and have the bases loaded. Rick looking left. Frere's back. There's a grounder to short. And it goes through the wickets of the third baseman. And that will score a run as Riggs scores. Lane makes it to third. Judah to second. And Rick Fabianchi drives home a run. It's now 9-6 Bosqueville. Brings up Cullen Anderson. Cullen with a 2-run single in the first inning. Here's a grounder to first. He's got to hurry. There's nobody there to cover. And they get the tag. And now the first baseman heads for the plate. And it's safe. So Anderson. And wow, lots of action there is Easton Heckman. Went into full solo mode at first. So a pair of runs scored on the play. It's now 11-6 with 2 outs. Fabianchi is at third, and that'll bring up Joe Mackey. Mackey singled. In the first, there's a grounder to short. And stopping the ball is Maffey. Scoring is Fabianchi. It's now 13-6. And Bosqueville, once again, is on the verge of a 7-run max inning as Carter Bates comes up. Carter 2 for 2. And he knocks the tee over. There's strike 1. Bryce Craig is on deck. Bates, the leadoff hitter, is now in his 3rd plate appearance in this ballgame. Pop-up. And it goes in front of the arc short. And holding on to the ball is Camden Tudor. So Bates stays at first. Joa at second. They had on the scoreboard it's 13-6. It's actually only 12-6. There's 2 runners on. And 2 outs. Bryce Craig is the batter. Bryce has singled and doubled and has a run batted in. Here's a grounder to second. It's knocked down by the first baseman. And the runners are going to... One runner will score as Joe Mackey scores. It's 13-6 as Carter makes it all the way to third. And Bryce stops at first. Brings up first baseman Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks 1 for 2. He's actually 2 for 2. He was forced out at second base earlier in the inning. There's a shot in left field. That's a base hit. That will score Carter Bates. And Bosqueville has a 7-run max. We played 1.5 here in this winter's bracket game of the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-Ball Tournament from the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton. It is now Bosqueville 14, Salado 6. Card My Yard, Temple and Salado's premier yard sign greeting rental company. Proudly celebrating Belton, Temple, Salado, Gerald, and the surrounding areas. We specialize in making your big day even bigger. Book now at cardmyyard.com for your next birthday, anniversary, retirement, baby announcement, graduation, or special event. There's a grounder by Keller to reach base. And folks, if you see spam posts in the chat, do not click on it. You are actually watching the official live stream of Bosqueville and Salado. So don't click those links. We do not want to spam you. I am not involved with that whatsoever. Brantley Hendricks will come to the plate. He scored back in the first inning. There's a grounder to third. And looking at the bag, now he's going to throw to first. That is rails back. Rounding third and heading for home is Keller. Keller will score. Brantley motoring around to third. He'll take a walk around third and drive home a run. And the Eagles are on the board now in the second. It's 14-7. Brings up Red Parker. Red singled and drove home a run back in the first inning. There's a grounder to short. Coming up with it is Bryce. Throws it across the diamond. Gets the out. A run will score. Nice play by Bryce Craig and Brooks Gonzalez to combine on the out. It does score a run, and the Eagles now trailed by 6. It's 14-8. Brings up Cameron Tudor. Camden had an RBI single in the first inning. Now time is called as Seth Hale out talking to field umpire Robert Brazilius.
All right, come on, guys, again.
So Camden will step up. Baseball's on the tee as Tudor will line it up. Looking to go to right field. Now he'll hit the ball to third. And a sidearm throw by the third baseman. Rails back not in time, so it'll be an infield single for Camden Tudor. One down, one on, and that'll bring up Brooks Hale. Brooks reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first inning. CF Supply Building Materials, your commercial and residential specialist located in Belton and Waco. Call 254-939-9385 for more information. CF Supply, build your next project with us. Here's a ball that gets into left field. That's a base hit. Brooks will stop at first. Camden is chased back to second. So runners at first and second, one down, and that'll bring up Christian Maffey. Christian with a 2-run inside the park homer back in the first inning. Christian waits for the tee to be adjusted. Once again, if you have friends or family that want to watch the game, have them follow me on Facebook. Also, this should have been shared on BYBA's page, Belton Youth Baseball Association, the host of the tournament. Camden Tudor will score as Christian gets it out into right center field. Brooks will score. Are we going to have another? We will not, but Christian drives home two with a triple. Now 4 runs batted in, and Salado now trails by 4. It's 14-10. Brings up Hudson Fulford. Hud is 0 for 1. He grounded out to shortstop in the first inning. If you got friends or family that, once again, that want to watch the video, Texas Teenage, I believe, has got this shared as well. And there's a ball that hits off the cleat of Bryce Craig at shortstop. So Christian will score. That'll be a single. And now a tag out at first. As Brooks Gonzalez will tag out Hudson at first. Drives in a run. Now 14-11, 2 outs. It brings up Easton Heckman. Easton had an RBI double in the first inning. Easton lines up the ball towards the right side, swings and misses. 1 strike to Easton. Palmer Burks is on deck. Here's a grounder back to the circle. Lane. Now the ball ends up getting all the way through to the shortstop. And Heckman is heading to third. He'll stop at third. So Easton now is at third. They'll bring up Palmer Burks. Palmer on an RBI triple in the first inning. Seth Hale says, move your feet, and Palmer turned entirely toward him. So some hokey pokey going on in the right-handed batter's box right now. Now we'll tell you what it's all about with the bat. There's a shot to short. And that hits off the ankle of the shortstop, heading to first on the throw. So Easton scores. Palmer is going to stop at second. So 6 runs are in. It's now 14-12. And Salado is on the verge of a 7-run max. Brings up Riot Ellis. Riot grounded out to the pitcher in the first inning. There's a grounder that hits off the side of the pitcher's mound cutoff. There's a throw. Nice throw! Bryce Craig makes the throw. He played it off an odd hop in front of the pitcher's mound. Ended up fielding the ball in front of second base. And the Siders are tired, so Salado picks up 6 runs. In the inning, we're through 2. An exciting ball game in the winners bracket of the Texas Teenage Baseball 6U T-Ball State Tournament winners bracket. It's now Bosqueville 14, Salado 12. Buffalo Tree Care has certified arborist and Texas Oak certified arborist on staff providing tree services for Temple, Belton, Salado, and surrounding Central Texas areas. For all your tree care needs, call Above It All Tree Care at 254-743-9123. Visit their Facebook page or their website, aboveitalltreecare.com. Top of the third inning in this winner's bracket game. As Luke Herndon will come on to play second base for Hudson Pulfer here in the third inning. Riggs Railsback will lead off the top of the third. Riggs on inside the park. 2-run homer in the first inning. He's 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. Riggs rears back. And here's a shot up the middle, just out of the reach of the pitcher Tudor. And that will be a base hit for Riggs Railsback. That brings up pitcher Lane Jorgensen. Once again, Lane, 1 for 2. He reached on a fielder's choice, has scored twice. Here's a grounder to third, knocked down by Hale. And they'll run towards second base. And Riggs Railsback will stay at second. That'll be a fielder's choice. Brings up Judah Koskela. Judah 2 for 2, 2 runs scored. Rearing back is Judah. Here's a fly ball to second base. And the ball is dropped, heading for the plate, and scoring is Riggs Railsback. That'll be a fielder's choice for Judah. Lane stops at second. A run scores, and Bosqueville has now re-extended its lead to 3. It's 15-12. And that'll bring up right fielder Rick Fabianchi. Rick 1 for 2. Next game we'll have for you will be at 7 o'clock. 5:37 and 8:30 are the games here on Field 2. Grounder to first base, and the pitcher Tudor will make the tag at first base. So one unassisted. One down. Lane stops at third. Judah at second. And that'll bring up Cullen Anderson. Anderson 1 for 2, had a 2-run single back in the first. There's a foul as the tee is knocked over. We'll try to get you an update on Mineola and Riesel. Right now, the view of the scoreboard is obstructed as Lane will score. Rounding third, heading for home. Judah will score. That'll be a 2-run single for Cullen Anderson. That's 4 runs batted in the game. It's now 17-12, Bosqueville. That'll bring up catcher Joa Mackey. Joa, 2 for 2, had a run batted in back in the second. He's also scored once. Joa lines up in the back part of the batter's box. Here's a chopper toward Tudor. Tudor throws it to first, but nobody on the bag at first, as Easton was off the bag. So runners at first and second. With one down, back to the top of the lineup for Bosqueville, it's Carter Bates. Carter 3 for 3, a run batted in. Now in his 4th plate appearance of this ball game. Here's a one-hopper to shortstop. Mappy goes to short, and they get the out. So it's a fielder's choice as Bates stops at first. Collins scores. It's now 17-12. Mackey will head toward the dugout. Bryce Craig steps to the plate. Bryce, 3 for 3. Pair of runs batted in and 2 runs scored. Here's a pop-up to left field, and this is going to drop down for a base hit. Bryce will head for second as Carter will head for the plate. Carter scores. Bryce stops at second. It's an RBI double for Bryce Craig, and Bosqueville leads 19-12. Brings up Brooks Gonzalez. Brooks 3 for 3. Batted in the run that ended the second on the 7-run max. There's a ball that gets into left field. That's a base hit. Rounding third and heading for home is Bryce Craig on the headfirst slide. RBI double for Brooks Gonzalez. Bosqueville is now in the 20s. It's 20-12. Riggs rails back, comes up. Riggs started the inning with a single and a run scored. Riggs flies into left field, and this is going to get past the left fielder. As ball comes in, but Brooks will score. Bosqueville picks up the 7-run max. So the third 7-run inning for Bosqueville will give them a 9-run lead as we go to the bottom of the third inning in the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-ball tournament at the Jace Jefferson Baseball Complex in Belton. It's Bosqueville 21 and Salado 12. Riesel leads Mineola 21-19 in the fourth inning. The winner of that game plays the winner of this game as Bosqueville leads Salado 21-12. The Eagles batting in the bottom of the third inning. This portion of Texas Teenage Baseball Association's 6U T-Ball Tournament, the state version, is brought to you by Texas Terrors Showcase Team and 13U Squad, home of Nobody Cares. Work harder. Top of the lineup, Keller Desmarais is the batter. He's 2 for 2, scored twice. There's a grounder to third. Coming up with it is Riggs. He'll hold on to the ball, and that will be the third single of the game for Keller Desmarais. And that'll bring up Brantley Hendricks. Brantley 2 for 2, has a run batted in. Now we get the placement of the ball on the tee. Brantley looks down to Coach Seth Hale. There's a shot to short. And this gets through into short left field, and now it goes beyond the left fielder. Keller will head to third. He's going to be directed to go home. Brantley will stop at second. He'll pick up the RBI. And the Eagles are on the board here in the third. It's now 21-13. That brings up Red Parker. Red has an RBI single. He's 1 for 2. There's a grounder back to the circle, and that ball goes wide, throw goes wide, if you will, of the bag at first. Brantley will score. Rhett will head all the way to third as the ball now gets into the infield. And Riggs rails back, tags Rhett. Well, hold on. Yep, he was tagged out. So one down, a run scores. It's now 21-14. And that'll bring up Camden Tudor. Camden, 2 for 2, has a run batted in. There's a shot up the middle. And this gets into center field for a base hit. And this goes into short left field. Now Camden is motoring around. Is he going to be able to have the momentum to stop? Here comes the rundown, and he gets him right before the plate. That was speed on speed right there. Carter Bates chases down Camden Tudor, and there's 2 outs. You didn't think that the 100-yard dash would exist in T-ball, but it certainly does. Oh, man, was that a chase. 2 down, and that brings up Brooks Hale. Brooks 2 for 2. There's a pop-up, and this is going to go into short left field. That'll be a base hit for Brooks Hale. Brooks will stop it first. That brings up Christian Maffey. Christian is 2 for 2, has a home inside the park homer, a triple, and 4 runs batted in. I mentioned earlier, this is the first of 2 games on the net tonight. Well, the Belton Guardians and the Canton Captains coming up at 7 o'clock. And there's a looper into right field. That's a base hit. Brooks will get the go sign. He'll head towards third. Heading for second is Christian. Now getting the go sign at third. Brooks will score. And Christian Maffey beats them all once again. It's another inside the park homer 2-run style. It's now 6 runs batted in for Christian. It's 21-16. Salado now trails by 5. And that'll bring up Hudson Fulfer. Hunt 0 for 1. Hudson sees the ball on the tee, now gets ready. There's a grounder behind the hill, and catching it is Craig by the bag. So it'll be an infield single for Hudson Fulfer, and brings up Easton Heckman. Easton, 1 for 2 officially, and an RBI double back in the first inning. Palmer Burks is on deck.
Back up, Trey, back up.
Palmer now gets the ball, gets the tee where he wants it. The height of the tee, you can't bring the tee right to you. Now he'll get it chest high. Easton now changes direction. There's a shot up the middle. Bryce knocks it down. Will they recover in time to get the force? Out! He gets the force! And that's the third out of the inning. As Carter Bates makes the tag at the bag at second. So Salado picks up 4 runs in the inning. Go to the top of the 4th inning. It's now Bosqueville 21 and Salado 16. Lane Jorgensen will lead off the top of the 4th inning. There's a fly ball that falls right at the glove of Hale. And Lane will reach base to start the 4th inning. Brings up Judah Koskela. Judah is 3 for 3. Next game we'll have for you will be the Belton Guardians and the Canton Captains. Now Tudor short arms the ball to first, and it's not in time. Heading for third is Lane, and he'll stop at third. Judah will head to second. Runners at first and second with nobody out, and that'll break up Rick Fabianchi. Rick 1 for 3. Rick adjusts in the batter's box. There's a grounder to third. No throw. Now the bases are loaded. Full of Bosqueville Rangers with nobody out. And bring up Cullen Anderson. Anderson with 4 runs batted in. He's 2 for 3 on a pair of 2-run singles. There's a shot up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. It's knocked down by the center fielder. Lane scores. Judah rounds third. Judah's going to score. Heading to third is Rick. Cullen will head to second. Now a ball gets away from Rick for Rick to score. Staying at second is Anderson. 3 runs come in. It's now 24-16. And that'll bring up Joe Mackey. Joe 3 for 3. This also means that Salado has to. Now they're not quite into the 10-run rule yet. They're at 8 as we stand right now. We'll just have to see how this inning ends. Joe aligns the bat up with the ball. Here's a grounder to the pitcher. Tudor throws it to first. Easton is not on the bag. Cullen's going to end up scoring. Joa now will end up at third. And Joa's going to score. And that will be a 4-base error as Joa scores. It drives in 2 runs. It's a 5-run inning so far for Bosqueville. It's now 26-16. Back to the top of the lineup. It's Carter Bates. Carter in his 5th plate appearance. This is going to be pinball between the shortstop and the third baseman. And Carter's not going to stop until they chase him back to second. So Carter on base for the 5th time in the ball game. That'll bring up Bryce Craig. Bryce 4 for 4. Bryce representing the potential 7th run of the inning. Here's a fly ball to shortstop. And that gets into left for a base hit. Bryce will drive home Carter. Bryce will head for second. And will stop. Another run for the Rangers. It's now 27-16. And Brooks Gonzalez is on to bat. Brooks 4 for 4 with 3 RBI. Grounder gets into left field for a base hit. Bryce is motoring towards the plate. The throw is up the line. And Bosqueville gets the 7-run max once again. 2nd time in the ball game that Brooks Gonzalez has driven in the 7th run of an inning. So we're at the end of 3.5. Bosqueville leads Salado 28-16. Card My Yard, Temple and Salado's premier yard sign greeting rental company, proudly celebrating Belton, Temple, Gerald, and the surrounding areas. We specialize in making your big day even bigger. Book now at cardmyyard.com for your next birthday, anniversary, retirement, baby announcement, graduation, or special event. We appreciate Card My Yard, West Temple Orthodontics, Texas Terrors Showcase Team, and 13U Squad, CF Supply Building Materials, and Above It All Tree Care for sponsoring the broadcast this week. Glad we could bring it to you. Thanks for all the support that you've given us across the net this week. Almost 100 viewers at one time in this video. It's the power of the internet, folks. Just glad to be able to bring it to you. Everybody watching from around the state, some people watching from around the country. Had some viewers from New York last night. There's a swing and a foul as Palmer will foul the ball off to lead off the fourth inning. Salado with some work to do. They have two obstacles that they have to clear to force a fifth inning. We'll get them to you in just a moment. Here's a shot into center field. This is going to get down for a base hit. Palmer will stay at first. That'll bring up Riot Ellis. So with Salado down 12, they have to score 3 runs to avoid the first obstacle, which is the 10-run rule. And then they have to score at least 5 runs to be behind by 7. Hi, Michelle. Maryland representing. Glad to see you on the net. Well, the second game, the Canton Captains against the Belton Guardians in an elimination game. And then during that game, we'll get you some more information on who the third game will be tonight. They're in the midst of playing a game right now. Riot waits for the ball to be set on the tee. There it is. Here's a liner back up the box. Making the diving stop is Bryce, but he keeps the ball from going into center field. Good defensive play by Bryce Craig. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Back to the top of the lineup for the Eagles. It's Kellen Desmarais. Keller, 3 for 3 with 3 runs batted in. Guardians and Captains getting ready to play after this. They'll play right here in front of us. We'll have the screen for you. Roughly 7:05 maybe. There's a ball that is picked up by Railsback. And no throw made, so that will load the bases full of Salado Eagles. And that'll bring up Brantley Hendricks. Brantley 3 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. Thank you. Might need that. Blake, I believe Riesel won 27-19. I'll try to verify that score here in a few. We're just kind of obstructed with fans blocking the scoreboard. Palmer scores. Riot will score. Keller will stop at third. And Brantley picks up 2 runs on his single. It's now 28-18. Brings up Rhett Parker. Rhett 2 for 3. There's a grounder to third. Bryce will pick up the ball, tries to beat the runner to second. Not successful. Keller scores. Brantley stops at second. Right at first. It's now 28-19. Brings up Camden Tudor. Tudor 3 for 3 with a run batted in. Rangers outfield playing straight away, regular depth. Now they will come towards the plate. Infield playing shallow at the left side. There's a bomb to center field. And that's going to roll toward the fence. Hendricks will score. Brett Parker motoring around third. He'll score. Tudor around third. Camden Tudor with the 3-run inside the park homer. It's now 28-22, and we will have a top of the fifth inning. As both obstacles have been cleared, the 10-run rule and the 7-run margin going into the final inning. Brings up Brooks Hale. Brooks has scored 3 times. There's a shot knocked down by Riggs. He throws it to first. And safe as the first baseman Gonzalez was pulled off the bag. So runner at first. With nobody down, that'll bring up Christian Maffey. Christian, 2 homers and 6 runs batted in this game. 28-22, the Eagles trail the Rangers. Eagles a run short of the 7-run maximum. This gets into right field. This is going to roll for a base hit. Brooks will head for third. Brooks is going to get the windmill. And the throw gets to second base. Christian will get credit for a triple, an RBI, and the 7-run max for the Salado Eagles. So we're at the end of 4 innings of play at the Texas Teenage Baseball Association 6U T-ball tournament's winners bracket game between Bosqueville and Salado. The Rangers lead the Eagles 28-23. Riggs rails back will lead off the top of the 5th inning for Bosqueville. Bosqueville needs just 3 runs to end the ball game. Riggs in the ball game is 4 for 4. There's a shot to short. And keeping the ball in his glove, Christian Maffey. Be a single for Riggs rails back. They'll bring up Lane Jorgensen. Lane 2 for 4. He's reached all 4 times. Reached twice on fielder's choices. Lane lines up. Here's a shot. And it hits off of Hale. Hits off of the shortstop. Now beating the throw to third was Riggs. Lane will take second on the throw. So Bosqueville with runners at second and third. Nobody out here in the top of the fifth inning with a 5-run lead, and that'll bring up Judah Koskela. Judah, 2 for 4. He reached on an error back in the fourth. Lots of fans surrounding us here on field number 2. It's a winner's bracket game. Lots of excitement and attention. And tension. Here's a grounder. And Hale makes a diving stop. And he'll look the runner back to second. Riggs will score. It's now 29-23. Bosqueville just needs 2 runs to secure the game. That'll bring up Rick Fabianchi. Rick 2 for 4. Rick lines it up. Here's a short pop in front of the arc. Camden Tudor will snag the ball and hold on to it. Now bases loaded for Bosqueville, and that'll bring up Cullen. Cullen with a monster game. He has 8 runs batted in. Cullen looking for a walk-off for the Rangers. Here's a shot to second, and unable to come up with the ball. Lane scores. Heading for the plate is Judah. He'll score. And Bosqueville will walk it off with a 31-23 win over the Salado Eagles. Good game by both teams as Bosqueville will advance to play at 8:30. And we'll be back with you here in just a little bit for the Canton Captains against the Belton Guardians. Almost sounds like a battle of the superheroes. So nevertheless, glad you enjoyed the broadcast. Once again, final score, Bosqueville 31, Salado 23. We'll be back with you at 7 o'clock. Until then, so long, everybody.